funny thing about life is that the most successful people realize that we make a move when we're not ready. We make a move when we're not ready. And I want to preface today's on demand right now to say that as we are working on, creating our results in life, I want to just encourage you to not be too efficient, to take yourself out of the game. And so I wrote down these 4 things. I want you to write them down. Number 1 is, what is your through line today? What is your through line today? So I can take any area of my life. So with my son right now, first of all, think about an area in your life that is a little pressed. It might be a little challenging. You're not really, necessarily overly thrilled with the results that you're getting somewhere. I was like that for a minute in my parenting. I noticed that my son had all these visions of being the entrepreneur of the house and the CEO and the parent, all these visions. And really, it was an indication to Ash and I that we need to step up our parenting a little bit. And so I created a through line. And the through line for our family is self-discipline right now. It's self-discipline. So it's like, if Zach gets, any of you guys have, I don't want to go too much into Zach, but YouTube is actually, YouTube I don't even think is as bad as the gaming chats, right? The gaming chats these kids are in. You know what I'm talking about if you have any children that are playing in these gaming chats or you've been in there before. But it's a whole nother world. And so my son is, he's responsible. I'm not blaming the chats because life is going to happen. And we need to know how to respond to that as, responsible leaders in the world. And so I noticed that my son was getting very big for his bridges. And I realized that there was a little bit of tension coming in, and I wasn't liking how he was using his authority and his words. Let's just put it that way. And my husband didn't either. And so we made a through line. And so I have a through line in every area of my life that I care about. When I'm confused, when you are confused, you're missing a through line. The through line takes you where you're going. It is the point of impact, right? So if I look at a through line, I really want you to practice putting this in every area of your life. So go in the chat right now and tell me, where is an area in your life right now that you feel like things are not necessarily either moving at the pace that you want, or the congruency, meaning peace, you know what I mean? Like it's not moving the way you want it to be moving. Go in the chat and let us know. Okay, so finances, business, your summit. What else? Come on, you guys, go in the chat. There's a bunch of you guys on here right now. Work, life, business. Let's get connected to what we're doing together. Business now, business, peacefulness, environment. Okay, so finances, right? Relationships, time management, finances. Okay, so know that there's a direct correlation to what you receive based on what you give, right? So jump in that chat, and because it also helps other people realize, like, are they on the right track or are they psycho because they have some of these ways of being, right? So let's unpsycho each other and realize that we're human here. So go in the chat and let us know. Okay, so I have a through line right now, like I said, my parenting, and that parenting has moved to the entire family. We all stopped and said, where's an area that we could be more self-disciplined in? Okay, and so literally every word, so here's what makes a through line work. There's an obsession. It's talked about. I think I just spent constantly wrong. Is constantly an E or an A? C-O-N-S-T-A or E? A? Am I right? Okay, do you know that I didn't want to spell that word right now? Because I was like, I'm not sure how to spell that word. That's my dyslexia. And the only reason why I bring it up on training like this is because I want you to know how many times during a day I push through my resistance. Because if I won't write that word because I'm afraid of writing it wrong and having anybody judge me on that, or just feeling dumb, like I should know that, or whatever, if I allow that to stop me, it will grow. Does that make sense? It will grow. So that does not take much energy because I move through it fast. If I hold on to that and I don't write that word, this is probably the most relevant thing I'm going to say all day. If I don't write that word, that resistance will grow my life and it will get me everywhere. It's like a virus, it multiplies. And that's why people have adrenal fatigue. I'm telling you, people have adrenal fatigue because they are literally crazy in their head. Like they're overthinking, they're exhaustion, and they are wearing their body down. Of course, there's food, there's everything else, but they are wearing their body down with stress. Okay, so I want to tell you something. I was up until 3:30 last night. That is not healthy. That is not normal. Okay, it's very, very not normal. Okay, but I was up till 3:30, and I had a walk on a beach with a woman that we've been trying to get together for a while at 8 o'clock this morning. Okay, I had a 7 a.m. quick meeting, which I was able to move to a different spot. I kept the meeting, but somebody else took the meeting, right? And so that's about, there's always a way. Did you guys hear that? The meeting didn't get canceled, it was kept. I found somebody else to do the meeting. That was a good use of our time for the meeting to continue. Does that make sense? So I share this with you because that is also connected to my through line of self-discipline right now. So could I get sloppy if I'm not looking at where I'm self-disciplined? Yes. Like, there's probably too much information, but I'm going to the bathroom and my husband goes, honey, like, you might want to rearrange your day. And I'm like, no, this isn't normal for me to go to bed at 3:30 in the morning. I go to bed at like 8:30, just so you know, at night, 9 o'clock at the very latest. I'm in bed by 8:30 though. I'm like curled up. And so I read and then I go to sleep. That's kind of my routine. I'll journal, I'll plan my next day. I do all that in bed, right? And then I go to sleep. And then I get up really early. So usually I'm getting up at 3:30, 4, 5 o'clock somewhere. I don't set an alarm. So it's very out of my circadian rhythm to do that. But I was busy. You know what I mean? Like my brain was busy. And I was like, zzz, and I was going. And so I just took the energy and I went. Based on results, my husband was kind of in that mode too, because he was working in the office till about 12:30 last night. And I'm going to tell you something. When moments like that happen because you're motivated, there's a blessing to that, right, you guys? Because there's sometimes that we're just not motivated, where we're spinning through the day. This is a human thing. So we grabbed a hold of it. But if I didn't have that word self-discipline, I might have canceled my walk this morning, which, by the way, might be my next house I buy. Never would have saw that, right? It might be the next house we buy. She's got a house in a neighborhood that is my dream neighborhood. And I've been saying, that's the neighborhood I want to live in. So whether or not it happens or not, I'm in the place of possibility. Did you guys hear it? Okay. So I have a through line of self-discipline right now. What does your through line need to be? What is it? What is it? What is it? Make a decision, make it fast. My love speed, right? Go in the chat. My love speed, go in the chat. What is your through line word right now? Right? You guys who are believers in the Lord, it might be something with the fruit of the Spirit. Right? And so urgency, finish what you start, follow through, right? Gosh, we're kind of all in the same mode right now. Push through, drive it to the finish line, consistency, right? So, okay, notice, I mean, birds of a feather flock together. We're kind of all in the same mode right now. This is good, right? So it tells me what to do in pocket coaching this month. Take action before I'm ready. Okay, great. Get organized in my actions. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to write down your through line. Mine's self-discipline. And you need to realize, why is that important? Okay, why is that important? Now, let me tell you why this is important. It's not what you probably think. I'm not giving you a personal development workshop right now. This is the benefit. And if you want to make money today, this week, this month, you better spend more time pressing on this benefit and repeating your through line more than you hear your words talk about a product, a service, any advice, any, teacher mode. You get what I'm saying? Like, content isn't the thing that sells. It's the through line being emotionally connected to a benefit. So I'm going to take a moment right now, because I don't do these on demands to just have you just coast through the day. I don't want to take up time in your day. I want to be like, I watched it on demand and I created X. Like, that's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, otherwise, honestly, it'd be so much easier to go into my studio and can all of my stuff and just give it to the team to put out. Okay? Like, and never do this unless I just feel like doing it randomly. Like, this doesn't fit into my day today. Did you guys hear what I'm saying? So what's going to work is not talking about my coaching program, my list building program, my water that makes me healthy. That's not what it is, right? It's a through line of right now for me, it's self-discipline. And do you think self-discipline hits every single one of you? Yes. Do you think kindness, if it was kindness, that through line hits every single person on the planet? Yes. Do you think being urgent or being bold or being honest or being courageous might impact every single human on the planet? Do you think they'll have a relatability to that? Yes. What are you guys hearing me say right now? I want an aha freaking moment right now. See, when you say to me or anybody, or even in yourself, in your life, in your house, in your office, if you walk around and say, "Gosh, this is hard," that becomes your through line, and you follow that all the way to a brick wall. See, when you tell me that you're frustrated, I know you're off purpose. When you tell me that you are overwhelmed, overthinking, you have just lost direction. And the way you get it back is to stop and ground yourself and go, where's an area in my life that really I'm feeling some tension in? And I'm not ready to move forward based on results because I'm not doing anything about it. I'm hiding, I'm whatever, I'm not making a decision. This is all leadership, right? This is all what's really happening underneath the surface. If I grab a hold of my life and say, I'm moving when I'm not ready, I'm moving this thing forward, which requires you to release resistance. Then you must, if you want your brain to grab something, is this helpful? Put yes or no. If you want your brain to grab onto something and you want to move, you need to stop needing the nipple of a coach, a mentor, a friend, or whatever. I'm not saying that doesn't help. It does tremendously. But the way somebody helps you, the quality of that is determined. Who's having a breakthrough right now? The quality of somebody's help in your life comes down to your clarity on your through line. Now, when you get clear about your through line, which can happen right now, it's typically connected emotionally when you look at something that you have the most pain in, because you will have the most urgency in the area that you have the most pain in. Okay, and everybody has it. You can have all the money in the world, the perfect husband, the perfect wife, and amazing health, and there is still an area of your life that's got some urgency in it, right? You feel pain around not seeing your kids, or you feel pain around like a parent passing away. There's pain somewhere. Does that make sense? Or you're not human. You've already turned into a robot if there's no pain anywhere. There is. And if you don't feel pain, it's because, okay, now I go into the hate crimes, so people get mad at me, right? It's like, if you don't feel any of that, then I'm going to tell you you're operating in surface level leadership. Because every single one of us, if I think about my dad in California basically dying in a bed with an oxygen mask on him, when I start to think about that and how many things I still don't know about him, or how many moments that he must be yearning and feeling like he wants to see me, I can feel the tears behind my eyes right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can feel I'm starting to feel his sadness. Like, I'm starting to genuinely feel it. That is depth. That is impactful. That is power. That is heart. That is purpose. That drives movements. And so when people tell me, Shanda, my message, how do you help me with my message? You don't need help with your message. You need help with your heart. Or you need to stop being in the weeds for about 10 minutes and just stop and go, where is the area that either you should be feeling pain in, and you're not, you're numb, or that you are feeling pain in and you've kind of been angry that you're feeling pain in it. Well, I want to use that pain because it has power. Does that make sense? And so I'm going to use my through line, for example. When I go self-discipline, why is that important? I have a lot of whys on why that's important. But when I'm obsessed with it, I talk about it constantly, right? Constantly. So every time I want to fall short right now, like not going for the walk this morning, because I'm justified, because I didn't go to sleep till 3:30, I am fully justified. She would completely understand. Does that make sense? Not once did that come out of my mouth when I walked with her today. Just so you know, she has no clue that I was up the majority of the day. You know what I'm saying? And so, because I don't want to trauma bond. Now, that doesn't mean I don't go to somebody when I need help around something. I was there because of my through line, and I talked about it with my husband, and I talk about it with my son, and we're all obsessively talking about it. So now what happens is, because I'm obsessed with it, it's a real big blessing for my clients. Because what do you think I'm going to do? Move them with the through line. I'm going to move them. I'm going to be all over them as I'm gap closing. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? As I'm gap closing in my life, which is creating more bandwidth, right? Do you think if we're more self-disciplined in certain things, that we're going to close gaps? You guys follow me? Put yes if you are. As I close gaps, I always say that great leaders never, ever, ever feel passion and power and movement. They don't move alone. They move when they're not ready, but they take a lot of people with them for comfort. And what happens is there's an explosion around great leaders. We label that movements. Okay? So some people have figured out how to be in a movement all the time because they have thinking time. And they never lead without the ability to create impact. That is understanding what is the current through line. So current through lines can be personal to you. They can be connected with what you keep seeing in the world, and it pains you to keep seeing it, right? It could be a through line. They can come from multiple different ways. Obviously, my sons are what kind of opened it up in our whole life. We're like, oh, we have an opportunity here, every single one of us. And so now that pushes through to my messaging. So I will tell you something. I would be willing to bet. Now here's number 2. What will happen with the people around me is the second thing that's going to happen is their belief is going to rise. Their belief is going to rise. So if I was making an offer, this isn't why you do it. I want to be clear about this. This is how you become impactful. Do you see what I'm saying? In your own life and as someone who's out there, like, people need to buy from you in order for you to have a real business. Okay? And just because you create a product that is useful doesn't mean that people understand that. And it doesn't make you entitled to receive money until you can move people, you can lead people. Okay? So let me take it back to my world so you can see it and then push back into your world. Do you think that I will have a greater belief in me as a parent as my son gets more self-disciplined? Do you think I'll feel more accomplished? Do you think it will create more happiness and bandwidth around me? Yes. If I feel accomplished as a mom, that's like the best job I've ever had in my entire life. And I feel like I have a long way to go. And I can see the runway ending because he's 9. And I'm already counting the number of summers I have before he moves out. Does that make sense? And so with that being said, I don't feel like he's a little boy. I feel like, and I don't feel like, oh, the time goes by fast. I don't feel like that either. I am very conscious how many summers I have left, most likely. And I want to get better every summer. And I'm good if I keep getting better every summer. I feel like I'd have a great foundation with him. Do you hear what I'm saying? So what happens is belief rises in you when you're authentic to your message. And what happens is if you don't just do it for you and you do it for your list. You do it for the people around you. You don't say, I've got nobody following me on Instagram, so I don't really know what to put out there. Put your freaking through line out there. You want to hold yourself accountable, tell them all that you're going to do it for 30 days and you'll show up every day for 30 days. Come along with me. Be okay if you don't have one comment for the whole 30 days. I guarantee you people are watching. And if you post once or twice a day, it's going to start to build, right? Number 3 is when belief rises, you are going to feel compelled to make offers. You know why? Because the people around you are going to light up as you light up. They're complete mirrors for you. If you think people don't buy your product, notice yourself and your buying habits. Notice how you kind of walk through things. Notice that. Now, I'm not saying I'm not saying that you can't make money when you're broke. Most of us start broke, unless you were born in a family that somehow, you didn't. Do you see what I'm saying? And so you have to look at the best time to make an offer is not when you're trying to make an offer because you're trying to make money. It is because you feel compelled to make the offer. So some of you guys know I just did a whole Undefeated challenge with Jonathan Otto. And he's actually coming here for 4th of July. His mom's in town from Australia and his dad, and they're all coming here. And I can tell you, okay, wow, I can feel the emotion of that. I genuinely, I'm gonna miss that community. It was an incredible 2 weeks. Not only did I learn a lot, I hope that I impacted well, but it was such a refreshing conversation of people being bold and, they're doing things like urine therapy, like drinking their own urine. I know it's a little crazy, but it works, right? You can go spend $15,000 on stem cell like I did, or you can drink your own urine. Now, I'm not going to get into this. But my point is people are afraid to just tell their belief systems if they believe in God, or if you call God the universe, you feel scared to say that if you're around Catholics or Christians. We've just gotten into this world that is so restricted. And I don't know if this is on purpose or not. I think it might be, but it really works against creating abundance. Do you know what I mean? Because I just haven't seen anybody create a lot of money. And money is not a bad and evil word, right? You're supposed to have lots of authority over it. When it runs you, it's a problem, right? If you're choosing it over love, it over getting married, it over, giving to even a charity or giving to people you love because you can't afford it, that I think is the problem. If you can't afford things, that's the problem, right? It's not, money's not the problem. And I just sit there and I go people are afraid to get out there and talk because when they do, they get slammed. And let's be really honest. Okay, can we have an honest moment? Human moment. If you're really, really honest, you might call it feedback or you might call it whatever, but in your heart you thought somebody was wrong about something and you said something, right? You truly were I disagree with you. However you landed it, maybe you landed it well or maybe you didn't land it well. That really has everything to do with how much authority did you have with the person. If you don't have much authority with the person, when you offer up an opinion, which really what an offer is, to make money, you offer something. And it really is an opinion to someone that if you bought this, if you drank this, chlorine dioxide, or you drank this non-acidic coffee, or I don't know, you spiritual people, you put this beads around you, you're going to feel God more. I don't know what your thing is, right? But my point is that you have an opinion. And there's a group of people that believe in that opinion. And there's a group of people who don't. If you're really honest for a second, and you said, when was the last time you had an opinion that you thought somebody else was wrong? Just put a W in the chat. If none of you put a W in the chat, I am going to all I'm gonna be like, you all not being honest right now, right? So put a W in chat. Yes. Okay, absolutely. Like at like 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning, I walked into my husband's office and I thought it was really cute that he was up late, and I crawled onto the couch in the office. I was just chatting with him, and then he irritated the poop out of me. And I was like, I'm out. I was like, you just being a little bit opinionated. I'm out. I was just bantering with you at 1 o'clock in the morning. And he stopped me because he has great leadership skills. And he said, I don't want you to feel that way. And that was actually, my dad does that. And I don't want to do that. And I love you. And I'm really sorry. And I'm going to work on my self-discipline in this area. It becomes a through line. It becomes an obsession that keeps us all moving forward. So when I ask you right now, what is your through line in your life? If you don't know what it is, please find it today. It's not far away from you. It's really close. It's not a trick question. It's not like, I'm not saying there's a through line better or not better. It's not about that. It's actually your energy on it. And I'm going to recommend you talk about it constantly, everywhere you go, with everybody you're around. And you're going to find that people's belief are going to rise around you. And so is your confidence and your conviction and your self-worth. It's all going to rise. And then open up your eyes and ears, because even if you don't have an offer, you could always offer your advice. But even if you don't have an offer, you can make something up. Here's what my first made up looked like. It looked like, it looked like Kim, right? Kim P, it looked like something like this. Hey, I think I could help you create XYZ. Would you be interested in it? She says yes. I don't know how to do that. I just think to myself, I know how to help her with it, but I don't know how to structure an offer. So I say, so what if I met with you twice a month for 1 hour, and we did that for the next 6 to 8 months of our lives and created the benefit? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Now, some of you guys are gonna have to re-listen to this, but I'm telling you, there's nothing tricky about what I'm saying. The whole thing was connected with courage and having, in my essence right now, if I was kind of working through starting my company, having the self-discipline to just make a decision and just put something out there. And Kim might say, I can't meet with you twice a month for 1 hour. Okay, well, what could you do? Oh, well, I would love to work with you for 1 full day or for 2 hours in one shot. Great, let's do that. See, wealth is about being flexible with your offers to fit your people. And when you start to do that, you're going to feel that there'll be a common thread, another through line that will start to develop. You'll be like, oh, the people that I like to spend my time with tend to like XYZ. They like this model like this, they like it like this, and I'm okay with that. And I will put this dollar amount to that. And you gain wisdom. My friends, at that point, that's when you become irresistible. And when you become irresistible, you start to look at whoever you're talking. We made an offer on the first week on a 60-day detox. And it's a really, really great offer. And I enrolled Jonathan to give his time on it, not because he didn't want to, but it was a blind spot for him because he doesn't give his time anymore because he plays a different role. And I said, there's people who buy products and services. For him, it's detoxing. And they never finish because they run into a roadblock. And if you were there to walk them through it, nobody walks them through it better than you. And he said, yeah, because he has low resistance. He will pivot his offer if it will help people. He will pivot the structure. He will pivot those things. That is the sign of a great leader. Okay, leaders who say to me, I don't want to do that. I don't want to give my time. I'm telling you, your wealth is limited. The the level in which people, which are our buyers, right? The level in which people, the level in which even our family are our buyers. My son has to buy into me as his mother. Yes, he cannot change our DNA. We are related, but he does not at any point in time need to accept me as his mother. Do you get what I'm saying? At some point, he can leave the house. And so I have to sell my advice, my whys, to my husband, to my son, to my clients, to my joint venture partners. Guys, life is one big enrollment game. And the sooner we grab a hold of that, the sooner we let go of the victimness. The sooner we stop saying that we have to live without a relationship, without congruency, without team, without wealth. It's all the same skill set. So I'm going to encourage you today to become irresistible. And irresistible is not about you being a doormat. It is about a fair and equitable trade. And so I'm going to leave you at this thought. Kevin Harrington said this to me, and I've never forgotten this. He was in Shark Tank, or is in Shark Tank. And I was FaceTiming with him, and he was building out a mentorship program because he wrote a book, Mentors to Millions. I don't know if you've ever read Mentors to Millions. You should definitely read it. Okay, one of those books, I wouldn't have picked it up, but my friend co-authored it with them, and he sent it to my house. And so I just opened it because it was there. I was being courteous, and I didn't intend on reading the book, and it was so good that I just dove into it. It's called Mentors to Millions, Mark Tim and Kevin Harrington. I really recommend you get that book. There's so many breakthroughs that I had reading that book in so many ways, but I'm going to leave that there. Kevin's a great entrepreneur and very, very wealthy, but yet he humbles himself to go talk to other coaches, mentors, people like that. And that's how I ended up on a FaceTime with him. And by the way, he does 10-minute calls. So when he gets on, it's either 10 or 15 minutes. He gets on and he says, I've got 10 minutes, Shanda. So I'm excited to ask you some of these questions. That's strong leadership. Some of you guys are ending up in conversations for a long time. Some of you guys are drawing out conversations. You want everybody to understand your backstory or to understand you. Have you heard that saying, like, be more interested in somebody else than somebody else being interested in you? That is a really fundamental piece. I lead calls all the time. And if I allowed people to take the mic, we would be there like we would never get through anybody. Do you guys follow me here? So when you hear me say things like your question is I'm trying to ground people so I don't have to cut them off because I don't want to cut them off. Does that make sense? And you'll see some people can run with that and other people will still have a need to be heard. That is a leadership scenario. It's also a trust scenario. Okay, we don't have time to dive into that right now. But Kevin's FaceTiming with me and he's asking me questions about mentorship and about scaling a coaching company, this, that, and the other. Why? Because he's grabbing intel to then go and execute. He's grabbing intel to go and execute. The reason why I share this with you is because when you start revenue producing or when you are revenue producing, the way you go to the next level is to look at your audience. Many of you guys know that I help people build email lists, text message lists. I don't focus as much on social media, although I'm on it all the time. Well, not all the time, but I'm on it enough. We are streaming on it right now. The way I hold myself accountable to stream is to show up for you. Do you see what I'm saying? Because my list and my email list is my connected audience that I can talk to all day long. And if I put something on Instagram, TikTok, or anything, I can put it out to my list and grow it. Does that make sense? Like I can grow any of my accounts through my list. So I share that with you because once you build a list, for you guys who have a list, who has a list, put list in the chat or the comment section. If you have a list right now, put list in the chat, right? And so many of our people will have them, okay? And so when you look at list in the chat, if you feel stuck and, people are not buying, it's an indication that you might need to send out a vulnerability email. I have a friend going through a divorce right now. It's a nasty divorce. I'm sad for her. And I said, I'm going to call her Tammy. I said, Tammy, you know that you have disconnected from the list as you've gone through the last couple of years of a bad marriage. And now you're in a nasty divorce. I said, when you're ready to be honest with your list about what you're walking through, you will have so much love that will come back from these people. She goes, I know. And I go, only until you're ready to have a relationship with them again and heal through what you're walking through, have courage again, will they open up and come back to you. Okay, so now they're still buying from her, by the way. She's still making impact, but it's just not at, she's a multiple $1,000,000 income earner, and she's down at about, 700,000, which is a big dump from 3 million. Okay, so don't go like poor poo-hoo her. She's a single mom of 3 children now. Okay, and with a lot of legal bills. Her legal bills will take up half of that income just this year alone. Okay, so it's a significant scenario. So I share this with you because if she would just send that email, she goes, I'm not ready yet. And I said, then you're not ready to lead them. Because when she sends out that email, and this is not a tactic, this is a relationship. If she sends out that email and tells them what she's walking through, not to process with them, but to say, hey guys, the reason why you haven't felt my heart, or you haven't felt me be more consistent with you, or maybe you feel like I'm just selling to you all the time, I want you to know that what I've been walking through over the last 2 years, and I'm in a process of going through a pretty brutal divorce. If she does that with the subject line saying, I'm getting divorced, her list will wake up, they will open up, she'll get tons of love. Now, I know this makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but that's because intimacy makes people uncomfortable. The fear of other people shaming you makes you feel uncomfortable. Do you realize that the Undefeated Challenge had all these people say, I love your energy, and then I had one anonymous poster say, I can't stand Shanda's energy, right? And I read it, and at first I was like, oh, my audience isn't mean like that. That was my first response. I said that to my husband. It's like, my audience isn't mean like that. Well, that's because I've cultivated my audience. I'm not, by the way, for you guys in Jonathan's community, I'm not calling anybody mean over there. That was just my human result, right? Like that was how I wanted to protect myself. Like, wow, like I get excited. Like this is how I am. Like to stop being excited would just not be me. Do you know what I mean? And there was a lot of people who by the way came to my defense and said I love her energy. But that's what it takes, you guys, right? It takes for you to not be shameful about your walk, about who you are, about things that go on in life. Like when I lost all this money in the company, everybody knew. Like I told them, like I lost clients because they were like, you're too tactical. I want your heart and your leadership back. And I'm like, ouch, guys. Like I helped you guys become millionaires. Like kind of walking through a hard moment. I'm still delivering. You're still getting what you need. They're like, no, we want your heart. I'm like, well, it ain't completely there right now. I'm doing 5 people's jobs and being a mom. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So people don't necessarily know how to give you empathy if you can't give it to yourself and show them. So I told her to send that email when she does it. So I'm going to be self-disciplined. I'm going to send her a message today. I'm going to encourage her to do that because I know when she has the huge buying momentum, because what will happen is when they feel connected to what she's going through, they will feel like they understand her. And then when she goes and makes an offer a day or 2 or 3 later, they will buy like crazy. See, guys, it's not that people don't want to work with you, don't want to affiliate with you. It's not that money's hard to make. What's challenging is us getting out of our own way. It's very easy to make money. Build an email list, either sell your product or an affiliate product to it. That somebody else gives you the marketing, the emails and everything else, and use their emails marketing and their skill set because they're already good at it, and partner revenue share. But don't sit there for 1 minute and delay the essence of creating income, because you think somehow the block is real. It's not. It's a call for something new from us. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, my amazing human beings, we're going to shut off the social. And you guys, love you guys so much. And you guys on Zoom, just stay with me right now.